By far, nothing looks like a real workflow. Everything is like action after action. Do this, then do this, then do this, then do this. Our typical understanding of a workflow is a diagram that has conditions. What if this guy doesn't approve? What if that value is less than this? What if the order is too big? What if the request is coming from that specific person, from that specific position? So all these things create conditions. Right in the middle of the workflow, we call a service on an external website and something fails. What shall we do in that case? There are cases that 5 different things should happen, and each one of them takes quite a while because somebody is not available. How can we send the request to all of them in parallel? These are the things that we want to discuss. So basically, our flow will change from one straight line of actions into multiple branches, multiple conditions, and multiple execution paths. Now, this is what makes this course interesting. Let's get into it. We start with condition and switch. For the flow control actions, we start with conditions and then we switch to switch control. Condition is very much like if then else, if we want to compare it with programming languages. So basically, the condition validates a logical statement, and if that condition is satisfied, it does something, and if the condition is not satisfied, it can do something else or nothing. On the other side, switch is a control that is designed to find a match. So it's not a logical statement, it only compares if one value is equal to something else. And then when it finds a match, it takes an action on a separate branch. So let's see how each one of them works. To start, I have a small example of a condition. Let's say we have a flow that when the order is received, it checks the amount. If the amount is greater than 500, it sends an email saying a large order is received. And if it is below 500 or equal to 500, it sends an email that says a small order is received. Now, let's take it to Power Automate and see how it can work. I go to flow.microsoft.com and I click on Create. Let's assume that the order is entered manually by pushing a button. Most of the time, this is not the case. The order is received using either through an API call or maybe through like Power Apps or by another system. It doesn't really matter. At the moment, we want to focus on the condition check. So I click on manually trigger a flow by pushing a button and I call it condition demo, and I click on create. So the flow is created, and I want to put values here. The first item is going to be order item, which really doesn't matter in this example. I add another one, which is going to be, for example, category, which I will use it for the next example. But another one is going to be the number. This one is going to be the amount. So when the button is pressed, the order gets inside the flow. And here I want to check the amount that we received from here. So if the amount is greater than 500, it should do something. If it is less than or equal to, we got to do something else. So let's start with search for condition. And there we go. Condition is under control, and I can click on condition and select it. The value that I want to compare is amount. So let me scroll down and I will find amount here. If the amount is equal to, no, I don't like equal to. If it is greater than 500, it should do something. If it is less than 500, it should do something else. So first of all, let me change the condition name and I rename it to separate large orders. So if yes means that if it's a large order, I can add an action here to do something If no, it should do something else. And that is supposed to send email. But the reality is that I really don't want to send email here and there because I have much better options that we learned in the previous section. Do you remember variables? So I can add an action here and I can use a variable and I can initialize a variable and I call it order size. I really like this one. So I can set the type as a string and the value, I just leave it blank at the moment. Now, when I get inside the condition, if yes, I can use set variable. Scroll down, you will find set variable here. Set the variable of the order size to large, and I can rename it to set large orders. If no, I can add another action. Again, that's going to be set variable. Scroll down, click. I rename it again to set small orders. Name, the variable that we want to set is going to be the order size, and this time we set it to small. Great. There was a reason that I used the example like this. So basically, as you can see, in the yes and no, in each one of them, we just set the variable to hold the order type, whether it's a large size or a small size order. And here is the thing, I really don't need to stay inside it. Regardless of whatever the condition is met, I can go after them and I can say new step, and here I send email. So send an email v2 is what I pick, and I want to send an email to myself. Now the subject can be a order size. Order is received. Body is going to be order item. I can click on here and I can find the item here, like order item, whatever that is there. Amount. I may find amount from here. Do you find it here? No, you don't, because this guy is expecting a text while amount is number. So when you see something like this, so basically when you don't find the value that you're looking for here, just click on here and search for amount. It will find it for you. And it's perfectly fine. There's no problem with that. And eventually I can add category. And when I come back here, I can pick category here very easily. Save. Let's review it again. So basically, when the order is received, I create a variable, and this variable is of type string, because at the end, I want to use this variable as a part of my email subject. Now, the condition is checking if the amount that I received is greater than 500 or less than or equal to 500. So regardless, if it is greater than 100, if yes, it sets the large order, which is basically assigning the value large to the order size. If no, it assigns the value small to the order size. Regardless, we pick this variable and concatenate it to the email subject. The other fields are added to the email body. Let me click on test. I'll perform the trigger action. Let me click on test and continue. Order item, I would say, for example, DVD player. Category, electronics. And amount is going to be, for example, 400, which is going to be a small order. Run flow, done. Happy, so everything is done. Before I check the email, I want to go for another run. So I can click on run again. This time order item is going to be car, category cars, amount is going to be, for example, $27,000. And I say run flow. Done. And this one is also complete. So this is the second one. You just need to refresh it and see if it is completed. The only difference is that the first one we ran it through test. The other one we actually came to the Flow UI and clicked on the run. Both ways works, and if you really want to see the details of the second time execution, you can just click on the run history and you can see everything that has happened. So regardless, let's go to Outlook. And inside Mailbox, we have one small order, which was a DVD player for $400, and it was a large order, which was a car for $27,000. Perfectly labeled, large order and small order. So far we learned about condition. Now let's go to switch.